their feet.
Meaning they had real gold. They had real precious stones and precious gold and precious metals on it. Jake got that cheap shit that when you put in your air, make your air turn green and grow a bubble around it, man.
And they're cool.
A big pus bubble.
Nasty.
Go ahead.
And their cools and their round tires like the moon. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands.
Oh, they had them chains. Hey man, that's
That is sexy.
that's sexy, bro. That's sexy, brother.
That is sexy.
You know, hey, you had the women, them belly dancers, man. They go doing this shit. You know.
Especially when their legs, is in the shapely legs, you know, calves and all that. No woman with them trunk, legs, like elephant trunk. That ain't sexy, you know.
Elephant tights.
Yeah. You know, when the legs is nice and shapely, that little chain, with the high heels. Man.
Yeah, with the pumps. You know, with the pumps.
That's sexy.
The teddies and all that, man. You know.
Says the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels.
Oh, the nose jewels.
Nose jewels.
You had the you had a ring there, then you had like a Because I used to sell that in the freeway. I used to sell that jewelry. And it would go over here and it would kind of ring over here.
Like a chain.
And that, you know, them ancient movies, they showed you that. Now the nigga women didn't look like straight up from the ghetto, you know? Go ahead.
It says the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen.
You know what the crisping pins is? That's that hot comb.
Make your hair
It shows
straight.
you they straighten their hair back. Yeah, that's that hot comb.
So back then they had straight hair, man.
Yeah.
And you had Israelites that looked like, back then you had Israelites that looked like Edomites, man.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because when you read the account of Hadad, all right, she looking like that. So you don't have to use her to train a nigga woman how to, you know.
How to walk right.
How to walk, you know. Right. She got the hair. That ain't no weave. That ain't weave. That's real hair, man.
Yeah, the average so-called white woman's in shape, man.
Yes.
You know, unlike the so-called black woman.
Looking sexy.
And if she open up her mouth, she ain't gonna sound like Yoda. But some nigga women sound like Yoda, man.
It says the glasses and the fine linen.
Woman getting it.
You know how you think about it?
Yeah.
You know that from smoking all them fucking Newport.
And sucking all that rock. Nasty picture. Hey, gotta keep it real.
It doesn't. Keep it real. Go ahead.
It says, and the hoods and the veils, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. And instead,
stink meaning a vagina.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of reasons
I bet you that Edomite woman smells good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Well,
as
that's
long as
why
she ain't wearing that patchouli.
The front smell like the back.
That's why in the book of Esther it speaks about the you know, since you read stink, if you don't mind, go to Esther, the 2nd chapter, the purification of the woman. Because you had a ritual back there where women had to be purified before they came before their men.
Oh, I got Esther.
Okay, you got Esther?
I got Esther on hold.
Comment by accident. Trying to check the message.
So whenever you're ready.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, he knows.
Go ahead. He got it.
I have Esther.
Yeah.
You say it right now. Say it.
Yeah, the brother KDC, Salaki brother, I accidentally erased your comments. I don't think you can make any comments on this one yet. I tried to put you back on, but I couldn't do it. Salaki brother.
Oh, so I got Esther.
These phones are sensitive, man. These phones are sensitive.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, this is the book of Esther.
Before you read that, because you read about there shall be stink, right? Now he's going to read about the purification of the women back then. Go ahead, brother.
The book of Esther, chapter 2, verse 12. Now when every maid's turn was come to go in to King Ahasuerus.
And by the way, a maid. You know what that word maid means?
Woman.
They were virgins. These women were virgins, man.
Virgins,
When every maid, if you can, look up that word maid. I bet you it goes back to Botswana. I bet you it goes back to Botswana.
Makes sense.
A young woman, a marriable age. Yep, that's a virgin.
No,
Because Osiris wasn't popping no woman that
No.
she been, you know.
Used twice.
Yep,
He's
yep.
a king.
Well, he was a great. You got to understand. Think about the movie 300.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember the tall dude in the movie with all that jewelry on?
Right.
That was Osiris,
Yeah.
which was what was his name in the movie? Xerxes, but in the scriptures is Osiris. So that's what it's talking about. It's talking about that dude that got into the fight with King Leonidas.
Yep, yep. When he cut him.
it's not coming out.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me see it again.
virginity was very pure, very precious back then. You know, women couldn't travel by themselves.
Nope.
Back then, women had to have big, especially if that woman was of a prominent family. She couldn't just go. You know, like now you see these women taking cross country by themselves
With
you
their
know.
girlfriends. That shit
with
ain't gonna
their
happen in the kingdom.
Girls' night out and shit.
The purpose of a woman is to be what? Is to be there for a man. You know?
Yeah, you got girls' night out. This society is totally out of order, man. That wasn't happening back there. Back there, if a woman traveled, they had big, strong men to protect them, man. Because a woman was possession.
Yeah, because a man would grab you, man.
Yeah.
And then if the man find out you're a virgin and pop you and you're not engaged, all he got to do is go to the law and say, look, hey, I got 50 shekels of silver.
Hey, that movie Conan. it showed
Mate,
that-
oh,
remember
you know
that
what?
chick?
You know what?
That,
Look up
what's
Mate.
that basketball player? Will Chamberlain.
No, was that Will
Chamberlain?
Yeah, Will Chamberlain. Yeah, you're right.
Will-
Yeah,
Will
Conan, they pretty much were her bodyguards.
Yeah,
She
they
was
were
a virgin.
Yep.
Chick was a virgin.
Because she had to be sacrificed. She didn't know it, but she had to be sacrificed.
I got
Yeah.
that scripture.
Yeah, bring it out. Bring it on out.
This is Deuteronomy 22 and start at 13. It says, if any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her and give her occasions of speech against her and bring up an evil name upon her and say, I took this woman and when I came into her, I found her not a maid.
Yeah, not a maid. But that's it. That's it. Now, when you go to the blue letter, what's that word there? What's
The Hebrew is Norah, Nohara, girl, damsel, little girl of young woman, marriageable young woman, maid, female attendant, female servant.
It means virgin. You know?
Yeah, that's in
Because
Esther.
men didn't have no woman. A man got a virgin. He wanted a virgin. That's what you want.
Virgin, yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, even in Esau's documents, it's the maiden name. It says the maiden
Maiden name. They
Before
put the
she got
maiden
married.
name. Right.
Right.
Well, that's where they got that from. They got that from the scriptures, you know?
Right. That's a good point.
You want me to continue, Apostle?
Go ahead.
All right, so back in Esther chapter 2, verse 12, and it says, now when every maid's turn was come now when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus,
And if I may say, that's how we're going to have it in the kingdom. You're going to have the
They're going to be a purification.
lined up.
The girl
When
might
it's-
be
Yeah.
11, 12 years old, and you purify her.
Yeah.
And then next year, when she's 13, or whatever the case may be, then you deal with it, man. But then that becomes your woman forever.
Right.
You know?
Like how
Because in
you,
the kingdom, we're going to have women forever, man.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to get old,
yeah,
you know?
and each one's going to have their turn. Okay, it's going to be your turn. Hey, you read about that with Jacob and Rachel? Yeah, Rachel and Leah. Well, how you think Issachar got his name? Because what was that? That was Leah hired the mandrakes.
She gave the mandrakes to Rebecca.
Right.
So that Jacob could lay with Leah.
Right.
Because the mandrakes, we used to think it was for the man, but it's really the mandrakes was fertility to help the woman. You know. So she took the mandrakes from her son Reuben, and then she hired her husband for that.
Yeah.
So she let Leah lay with Jacob that night.
And Leah conceived Issachar, which means he is hired,
Right.
because they made that deal.
Omen.
Omen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Issachar can get a job quick, man. They
Oh,
can
yeah.
stand right in this corner, man. In the morning, some Edomite with a truck, pick his ass up, pick 3 or 4 of them up, and pay him that same day.
They
You know?
can do anything. They could go from cooking to grave digging, whatever you need them to do. They're plumbers, electricians, carpenters.
And they got them skills, man. Them Issacharites got them skills, man. Yeah, and this guy, you know what I found out? Now this devil, DJ Trump, said he want to build a wall to get all the Mexicans out. You know what I found out? all he had was in there, all in his house where he lived at were all Mexicans, man. You know, Mexicans, but they were all undocumented.
Ain't that something?
So it's coming out. What they did was they fixed the papers to make them seem like they were documented. These were like bogus ass papers, man. You know, bogus credit card, bogus Social Security cards. So all kind of truth is coming out against this guy. He should have been impeached the first 6 months in office.
Yeah.
And the reason that you think Obama could do all that and still be in office,
Oh,
they
hell.
would have done assassinated that dude, man.
Hell yeah. Like this guy said, the comedian, he got the complexion for the protection. What was that? What's his name?
Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney.
And
Yeah,
this is the so-called, as this guy, Jordan Maxwell said, this is the white man. He told the truth.
Yeah.
He's one of the few white men that said, this is the white man's world.
That's right.
This is his world.
This is his world.
And it's true.
Yeah.
Just because they put a
Absolutely.
little faggot ass nigga up in office, that don't mean shit, man. He didn't change nothing. He ain't changed a motherfucking thing. You know?
Yeah.
Where we at?
All right, so it's back in Esther 2 and 12. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months according to the manner of women, for so were the days of their
The man of women, meaning they had to be cleansed. Go ahead.
for so were the days of their purifications accomplished.
That's it.
To wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh.
And that shows you that men and women are different. Like in this society, they tell you men and women are the same. Men didn't have to go through the ritual of purification. Women do.
Yeah.
Because by nature, a woman is more filthy than a man.
Right.
By nature.
Now they showed you that in the movie Mandingo. I think it was Mandingo, if I'm not mistaken, where they had the mammy, the big fat mammy.
Yeah.
She was getting ready, this young little so-called black woman slave, and she had to be maybe 13, 14 years old, and she made a baby Truly. And then she said, oh, I don't like this. This stinks. She said, that's what the master like. The master like that. Don't worry, don't be concerned about what you like. That's what the master like. But they didn't say it was patchouli. But that, you ever smell patchouli?
That's horrible.
Anybody smell patchouli?
Yes, sir.
Them Edomites down there in Wall Street, they put that patchouli on, man.
To sell that. We used to sell that.
They
shit.
Esau loved that shit,
Oh, he-
man.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
we used to call it Mount Seir.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Didn't we call it Mount Seir?
Yeah.
We used to sell it to Esau.
Yeah.
We used to put like Egyptian musk with some,
Yep.
with some patchouli.
Yeah.
And we just shake it up.
Yeah.
And we got a oil for you called Mount
Mount
Seir.
Seir, yeah.
And they used to
We sold a lot of it too.
oh, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
You got some plant.
And then you had a Levite. He said, I like this. I said, no, you don't like that. You might like it. I like it. A damn Levite, man.
It might have been an
He
Edomite.
might have been an Edomite.
Remember that
Chocolate Edom.
dude in Connecticut who said that that's an Indian oil. You said, yeah, East Indian oil.
I don't remember saying that.
We did a lot of teaching on the tables too. Those oil tables. A lot of teaching.
That's funny.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, it says, for so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
nasty.
well, they're foul, man. They're foul. And that's a foul smelling oil, man.
It says 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. And that was it.
And there were virgins on top of that, man.
Yep. Smelling good from far away.
And in the kingdom of heaven, every woman we're going to get is a virgin, man.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, you know? She's going to be young and ready, man. All right, where we at now? Where we at?
Back in Isaiah chapter 3, verse 24, finishing off, it says, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent.
Yeah, meaning no shape. Like a girl is supposed to give you. Back in the day, they had that commercial Playtex 24. You remember that? Yes. Playtex 24/7 girdle. Yeah, the girdle is supposed to give you shape. So instead of read that again. Instead of what?
It says, and instead of a girdle, a rent.
Instead of a shape.
rent.
Rent means to tear.
Yeah, they
so the
tear
Lord,
the
their shape is torn apart.
Hey,
They're all out of shape.
You ever seen a tire? You drive and you might run over something, and then there's a bubble coming out of the tire.
Yeah.
And it don't run the same.
Yeah.
That's how it is. A rent.
Speaking of tires, some of them so-called black women look like the Michelin Man. They're all big and out. Either the breast is out and no ass, or no weird kind of shape, man.
Look like Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt.
That goes back to the curse. That goes back to the curse that the Lord put on you so-called black women.
Yeah, because in the kingdom, you ain't gonna see no fat
hell no.
shaped black woman.
No
you
way.
know?
No way.
Or so-called black man. I don't even like to use the word the term black.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna eat the right foods. You know?
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. Your diet, your so-called black women, your diet is horrendous, man.
Oh yeah.
You're eating all kind of shit, all kind of.
Well, they eat shit that's not lawful. They eat shrimp, they eat
shrimp,
pork,
lobster. Every day you eat McDonald's
bacon,
or Burger King.
They eat I know for a fact they eat McDonald's.
Yeah,
It's of ice cream.
eating all that shit, man, all that crap.
Cookie, Oreo cookies. All
Yep.
kind of nasty.
Yeah, they got the video of the nigga woman. She had all kind of crab and
yeah,
lobster.
yeah,
She had a
yeah.
big bowl of butter sauce. She just
Yeah.
she just going to town.
It's just a lot of nastiness going on.
I thought she was gonna drop dead right there at the table.
Yeah, GMO foods like the brother put on the comment board. Which is
I mean, it's not all your fault, nigga women. It's these GMOs too. But a lot of it is your fault, you know?
I Am Judah put black women are depressed,
Yeah. Well,
which is why they don't take care of themselves.
that goes back to the curses.
That goes back to the curses.
You're under the curse. They know in the spirit that they're not in the right, the right place.
Right.
You know, you put it to you that way, man. It's true. You know?
They're in the sunken place.
Yeah, they're in the sunken. We're all in the sunken place.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It says,
Go ahead, bro.
And watching the video called Bouts with Depression is not going to help you, man. And they made a video called Having Bouts with Depression.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you supposed to be depressed, man.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't depressed because he was ripping off the pocket.
Exactly.
Well, we know Kanai wasn't depressed.
Yeah, Kanai was.
Kanai, I left the body. I left the body. I no longer with the body. Well, wait a minute. What are you doing now? What are you doing now? Like I said, these guys that fell off or got kicked out, whatever the case may be, why aren't you doing the work, man?
Exactly.
Right.
I'll give one body from Texas. I give them credit.
Right.
They're out there raising hell.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And that dude was cracking me up, man. Especially the old dude. That dude was cracking me up, man.
it says, and instead of a girdly rent, and instead of well-set hair, baldness.
There it
That's
is.
you black woman, man.
There it is.
The Chinese woman got hair down past their ass.
Now wait a minute.
Ephraimite woman got hair down past their ass.
Wait a minute. So-called
Edomite woman got
Yep.
hair down past their ass.
Yeah.
That's right.
But what about you so-called African American women?
No, now wait a minute. They pack the churches every Sunday. How come they don't know this scripture? They're the main ones.
Hold
in
on,
these-
wait a minute. Another thing, they pack the churches. Why can't they get a blessing?
Right.
Hold up, don't they got the healing ministers? When they touch you on the head and you get healed?
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Why can't your hair grow?
Why can't you?
Why can't you roll up and say, darling, what's your problem today? I ain't got no damn hair, Pastor. I want some hair. Well, that pastor's supposed to touch her on the forehead,
That's right.
and her hair's supposed to grow.
Right.
And that's not the easiest thing in spiritual power to do is grow.
Your stature?
A stature,
Right. Yes.
or add a cubit to your hair, man.
That's right.
Or add an inch to your hair. You know.
But
The easiest thing in spiritual power is to grow
Yeah.
or to grow your hair, man.
Man, that's a good question, man. You so-called black women, I mean, you pack those churches like army, like an army troop. It says that in Jeremiah. Matter of fact, Holland Houses, read that. Jeremiah, the 5th chapter, is it? You pack those churches like an army, and you don't know why you're bald-headed? You ask the average so-called black woman, proves that they go into church and not learning anything. You ask them, why are you bald-headed? They will not go to that scripture that you just
We're
read.
going back to Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 11.
Yeah.
Didn't it say that the glory of a woman's hair is her hair?
Yeah.
Glory is her hair?
Hair, yeah.
Well, wait a minute. You going to church every Sunday.
You don't know that.
You going to Fish Fried Fridays.
Right.
You know? You going to Wednesday Bible class.
Yeah.
And you ain't growing no motherfucking hair. You giving all your spirit and power to the Lord,
Yeah.
and he haven't given you your hair, which is your glory.
Yeah, she's doing praise break for 45 minutes straight. You know, jumping up and down, jumping up and down.
Where's that in the scriptures?
Yeah.
A praise break. Hey, did you find it? Yeah, like Holland? Yeah, go ahead.
Jeremiah 5 and 7.
Yep.
How shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me and swore by them that there are no gods.
No, you got to read that
read that
again.
again.
You got to read that again, bro.
Read what you
Jeremiah
see.
5 and 7. How shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me.
That's the Heavenly Father speaking. How shall I pardon thee for this? Which shows you Heavenly Father he's angry. The majority of our people, he's angry at the majority of our people, man. Go ahead, brother.
It says, and swore by them that there are no gods.
No.
When I had fed them to
Did
to
you
the
read that
full,
right? Swear by them that are no gods, right?
Yeah. And swore by them that are no gods.
There you go. Because you added a word to it. What's an example of that? Caesar Borgia, Serapis. You swearing by you bowing down to that so-called God. Go ahead.
And it says, when I had fed them to the full, they then committed adultery and assembled themselves by troops in the other houses.
That's the point. Assemble them, and that's the so-called black woman. They're assembling those so-called churches like an army. And yet they don't know these scriptures that we're bringing out about why they're bald-headed, what the Apostle Paul said about their hair being the glory. They don't know about that. They don't know why their hair is so short. But they're packed in those churches, just like you read in Jeremiah. So if that ain't talking about our people, who is it talking about?
And then you know what they got the so-called Jews doing. This is a fact. If you ever go around and see Eastern Parkway, them so-called Jews live in them, what do we call them? The Hasmonean Empire, but they call it Hasidic, which is Hasmonean. It goes back. They're saying that they're the Jews of the Maccabees, right? When you go around there, what they do is they shave their head bald and they put a wig on it. And why they do that? Because of that scripture.
Yeah.
The scripture didn't say, "Oh, woman, shave your head and put a wig on." So they're trying to fulfill the scripture.
Yeah.
You can't. The Most High said he's going to take your head.
Right. He said
Okay.
he smite the scab. He'll smite him with the scab in the head. You know.
The Most High didn't smite them. Amalekite women with baldness. They shaved their hair off, man. And they said, well, this is the fulfillment of scripture. You know?
And that is so true, because I remember back when I was living in Brooklyn, I used to take the train, you see them so-called Jew women, and they all had them same silly wigs on their head. They all had that same, I used to look at it, something ain't right about it. Now, that's what it was. They'd cut all their hair, you know, and they have that stupid wig.
Somebody go to Google right quick and put in why do Jewish women shave their hair,
Let's go, champ.
And I believe they did that in Hitler. Hitler did that when he took them so-called Jewish women. I heard they shaved their head because they said, since you Israelites, we're going to shave your head for you. But I think it goes deeper into that plague that they had.
Okay.
You know, you was going into
typhus.
that.
Oh, yeah,
Typhus,
typhus. Yeah, typhus
Yep.
fever.
Yeah, them are some filthy,
They're filthy, man.
filthy animals, man.
That's why Job said they were chased up in the caves. 'Cause they're filthy.
Or even in that book, 13th Tribe, it
Oh,
said
yeah.
how
Yep.
when the Arab historians would come and visit with certain of the leaders, their women would sit there with their legs open, their crotch exposed, and they're scratching their
Itching their private
They
parts.
were low level, man.
Yeah.
That's some so-called Jews today.
And-
the
and-
Kazakhs.
yep.
The Kazakhs.
Yeah,
and they know that they know that their line goes back to the Kazakhs,
Oh, yeah.
man. That's why all them devils came out of Europe. Them Kazakhs, man.
Yeah, the men would wear their underwear until it frayed. It frayed on them. off of them.
Disintegrated.
Disintegrated. They'd wear their underwear until it disintegrated off of them.
Sound like a caveman to me.
dusty jaws.
But then they're supposed to be the Lord's chosen people. Get the fuck
Get
out of
the
here.
Fuck out of here.
fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here, you
Where we at?
so-called Jewish bastard.
This is back in Isaiah chapter 3,
18th century.
verse 24.
Fuck.
It says,
He looked up on Google. You want him to look up something on Google?
Oh yeah, go ahead, read it, brother.
It says something about
Why the Jewish women shave their
most
head?
Hasidic Jewish men and women adhere to a strict dress code with historical roots. Hasidic Judaism developed in 18th century Eastern Europe, and a lot of the Hasidic wardrobe stems from the dress of that time.
If you scroll down, is that curiosity?
Yeah.
If you scroll down, it'll say it had a question.
And what's Hasidic Judaism?
It says why do some Hasidic women shave their heads?
You got it?
You got it? Just read it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
read it.
It says curiosity.com. It says why do some Hasidic women shave their heads? Hasidism comes with a pretty strict dress code. Men typically wear black pants, white shirts, black jackets. They also
And it tells you that you read in the 1800s. So they made that shit up. Jake wasn't dressing like Moses wasn't dressing like that. They made that shit up, man. So there's another lie that we didn't, got on you devils.
And then
They wear the trench coats, the long coats, the black shoes, with the zetas on, and then they had the hair shaven with the braids and shit.
That's Saturn worship, right? All that black, all that.
And then though when they call themselves living in ghettos out there in Europe and all that, but it said that those ghettos were self-imposed. So they put themselves in that position. They try to fit the scriptures once again. So everything that they do, they try to fit themselves around the scripture. They have to do something to make themselves fit the scripture.
Impossible, man.
Where Jake is
That's why that rabbi said that Jacob was vanilla skinned.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole, man.
Go ahead, let's read on. Let's read on.
It's a second paragraph. It says hair covering is common throughout Orthodox Judaism, but some Hasidic women take it a step farther and shave their heads.
There you go.
And
I want to know why.
And the Hasidic tradition, uncovered hair is similar to nudity. And according to some Hasidic leaders, the only way to ensure modesty is for women to shave their heads altogether. That way a stray hair can pop out of the wig. There's no hair to stray. It says some women reporting feeling violated by this conviction. Others say they're cool with it. Still, others note that this isn't a universal practice, and some Hasidic women wear wigs without shaving their heads.
Yeah, they do.
But they don't tell you. They don't really tell you where it actually came from. You know. That's them adding to the scriptures, man.
Yeah. They really do wear those wigs because, like I said, I remember they all wear basically that same wig.
Somebody asked a question.
And taken away, because it says a woman's hair is her glory. Why would you shave it off if it's her glory?
Because they're retarded.
Somebody asked a question.
There it goes. There it goes.
Yeah, all that same wig. That's the wig. That's the wig right there.
Yeah.
That's sweet poly purebred wig.
That's what that is. That's sweet poly purebred.
Sweet poly purebred.
Somebody asked a question.
Yeah, what's the question?
It said, would they be a clean leper? I guess he's talking about Esau, I guess.
Of course there would be a clean leper. There's clean lepers and there are unclean lepers. You know? That's why they can walk around among us and not contaminate us, man.
Right.
Okay?
That's it.
Yeah, because when you go back to, what is that? Leviticus 13, Leviticus 14, it tells you about the law of the leprosy.
Yep.
Leprosy of a garment, leprosy of a house, leprosy of the skin, and leprosy of the hair, man.
Yep.
And then if you had leprosy, this happened among Israel. They caught leprosy, and they would put them out to camp for 7 days and bring them back. And then if they wasn't found to be unclean, they can live among the congregation. All right, but if they were unclean, they were pushed out.
Yeah,
So
like,
Esau is really a clean leper.
clean leper. Yeah, like Miriam. Miriam was afflicted with leprosy.
Yep.
Or Naaman. Name it.
Okay, well that's why Miriam had to, she had to be out there 7 days.
They put her out there for 7 days.
Yeah.
That humbled her because she was talking shit against Moses.
Right.
And the Lord humbled her.
Because he was with that woman.
Ethiopian woman, right?
Hamitic woman.
Yeah.
You know, she was popping shit.
Yeah.
Because she was older than Moses and Aaron. Moses was a baby. Aaron was second. Miriam was first. Aaron was second, and Moses was a baby. So she was talking shit to a younger brother. So the Most High was like, look, that's my servant. You're a woman first of all. Right. All right.
Somebody asked a question here.
Yeah.
If concubine bear Jake's seed, do they raise the kids in the kingdom?
Of course. in other words, if you get a concubine and you put seed in her and have a child, what do you think the child's gonna be? An Israelite, man. That's gonna be an Israelite. And there's accounts where you had men that had women from other nations.
Boaz, right?
Yeah, no, I was thinking of another one.
The judge.
Solomon's son Rehoboam, mother was an Ammonite.
Yeah. One of the judges is that's why they didn't want him to get the inheritance. Jephthah. Yeah, Jephthah. What was his mother? His mother was a.
She was a harlot.
Oh, okay, she was a harlot.
Yeah. And they didn't want him, to have any.
But then he was a man of war.
Yeah.
So they in other words, they looked at him. Look, your mother's a whore.
Right.
They look like they look at you bad now. Your mother's a whore.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he was a great man. So when they needed his help, he said, "Look, I'm gonna be ruler over you."
That's it.
Like fuck you, motherfuckers, man.
Yeah.
You know how you Jake, they talk shit about you, then all of a sudden, then you give them their demands. You do this, do that.
Yep.
That's Jake, man. That's Jake right there, man.
Somebody said or asked,
The water.
since I've come into the truth, I've seen more lepers than ever. Is it really contagious?
No, you got these unclean lepers. You got to read the law on an unclean leper.
Right.
Unclean leper, man, they're gonna have them somewhere. They're gonna put them somewhere. Now you got you got Jake. Matter of fact, I saw a Jake woman, dark skin around here, and the Most High gave her leprosy like it was a mask, man. But they're not considered unclean.
Yeah, I saw some unclean lepers when I was over in Iraq, and they look bad, man. They look like monsters.
Yeah.
They look bad.
Yeah, check that out. Check that out. Yeah, that's you go around an unclean leper, you're gonna get contaminated by it, man. They have things today called leprosy, leper leper colonies, man.
Yeah.
And they showed you that in the movie Papillon.
Oh, Papillon.
Yep. Because the Papillon smoked the leper's cigar.
Yeah.
And the leper said, how did you know that this wasn't a form of contagious leprosy?
Yeah.
And then Steve McQueen said, I didn't. So the guy said, oh, I like this guy.
Yeah.
That was a bad movie, man.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw that one, the original one, Papillon, with Steve McQueen. That's a bad, but they made a remake of it. Ain't nobody watching it because people ain't into real
Dustin
movies.
Hoffman too, right?
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Digger.
What happens if somebody were to
Speak loud out.
What happens if somebody were to have blonde hair? Would that count as leprosy?
If they have blonde hair,
Yes.
well, that's like a clean leopard. You either clean leopard or unclean. It got to be red. If there's like a red spot around it, like you got the Edomite woman with naturally blonde hair, but there's no red spot in it, she's a clean leopard.
Right.
So you can rub up on it.
Yeah. So yellow hair or blonde hair is leprosy.
Yeah.
But there's clean leopards and there's unclean leopards.
Blue eyes is leprosy of the eyes.
That's it.
That's why they brought out blue eyes. You're more tended to go blind. Blue eyes.
There's a deficiency.
Yeah, it's a deficiency.
Oh, look at those pretty blue eyes. Those pretty blue eyes is a deficiency, man.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
leprose.
The brown eyes is where it's at. More,
Pretty brown. That's thinking about brown eyes.
Oh yeah.
All right, where we at? Oh, let's go back to. You finished it with that? Yeah. Okay, let's go back. Where we at? We don't gotta read all that.
So back in Genesis 27,
right? Apostle around, I could do a video on leprosy. And if the Spirit's on me, I'll do it because a lot of people don't understand, man.
Yeah.
What the Most High put on Miriam was an unclean form of leprosy, and they had to put her out the camp, man.
Somebody said albinos lepers.
Yes, they are lepers, but they're clean lepers, We're going back to let's go to back to Genesis 27. And Esau, what made you different? Oh, since we're talking about leprosy, all Edomites have leprosy, but they got a clean form of leprosy.
Right.
That's the mark that was given to Cain.
Right.
Somebody get that right quick.
Somebody said.
You know what? You might want to go to Genesis 3. Go right to the point.
I don't know if this is a trick question.
Yeah, go ahead. What's the question?
Can unclean lepers teach? I don't know if that's
Unclean
a trick
lepers?
question.
Well, there's no scripture that says that they can't. You know, there's no scriptures on that. If they're unclean, they can't teach. If they're unclean, they can't be in the camp.
Yeah.
You know?
What was that? The scripture of the man who had leprosy, and Yahushua healed him, and he wanted to follow Yahushua. And Yahushua told him to go and show yourself to the priest.
Oh yeah. Well, good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
You see whether you was an unclean leper or a clean leper. All right.
Because that was the law. Once you got it, you had to go show yourself. To
Now
the
you
priest.
had one of the relatives, the father-in-law of Jacob is a Laban, right?
Yeah.
What does the word Laban mean?
White.
It means white.
Yeah.
Why do they call him Laban? Because he was light-skinned.
Light skin. Yeah.
You
That
had
makes sense.
light-skinned Jakes back then.
That makes sense.
You
That
know?
makes sense. He had to be son for him to get that name, Laban. And then you had, in contrast, you had Kedar, or Kedar, who was the son of Ishmael.
He was dark.
Why was he called
He
Kedar?
was dark. He was the
very
darkest.
added to the
He
apostle.
was probably the darkest out of all the sons.
Yeah.
He was extra dark, you know. And if you go to the Bible dictionary, Zandervan Bible Dictionary, I forget what page it's on. You got an Arab. It says Arab man, and the dude was black as tar. man.
Yeah.
Like if you go out to the Middle East, well, you've been out there. There's Arabs out there darker than this brother right here, man.
Yeah, it's dark.
And I was watching. This was years back. The World Cup, and they had the Saudi team playing. So they're supposed to be Arabs, right? The whole motherfucking team was black as night, man. The whole team. Oh, if you go out there to Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, anytime you see him when he was alive, and you see the people in the
17 and 14,
background,
that's-
they were all black.
What scripture was that?
So they were black
17 and
Arabs,
14.
you know?
Yeah. Oh, the brother put.
Oh, hell yeah.
The brother put the scripture on the comment section. Luke 17 and 14 about the Yahushua told that man he healed him of the
Good,
leprosy.
good.
If anybody got it, you can bring it out. Luke 17, 14. Let me bring the. Make sure it's. Yep, Luke 17 and 14. Samak Amar. That's the brother.
Can somebody grab that scripture? Luke 17:14. You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
This is Luke 17 and 14. And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves unto the priest.
No, you got to jump up. You might have to jump up. To
This is
back, guy.
Luke 17 and 11. And it came to pass as he went to Jerusalem that he passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee.
Yeah.
And as he entered into a certain village, there met him 10 men that were lepers.
See? That were lepers. They had that unclean form of leprosy.
And right after that, go to Matthew's 10 and around the 7th verse. Because when the disciples received spiritual power,
Right.
what did it say? Cleanse the lepers.
Right.
So what was it talking about? Edomites? No, it was talking about Jake that was suffering from leprosy.
Yeah.
Unclean leprosy.
Go ahead, bro.
Which stood afar off. And they said,
Well,
and
why did they
lifted-
stand afar off? Because they had that unclean form of leprosy, which was contagious. That's why they stood afar off. And like Elder Pastor said, you actually had islands of lepers. People that were suffering from leprosy.
The ones that were pronounced unclean by the priest,
Right.
they were out of the camp.
They were out.
You had other lepers that went out for 7 days and they came back and they examined them and said, you're clean, you can dwell among the people.
Yeah. And that's why Miriam was cast out.
Right.
Remember Miriam, she received what? Leprosy. So she was cast out the camp. And then the Lord said if her father had put spit in her face 7 days, should you not be ashamed? Go ahead, bro.
And they lifted up their voices and said, Yahushua, Master, have mercy on us.
Yep.
And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves unto the priest. And it came to pass that as they went, they were cleansed. And one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back and with a loud voice glorified the Most High, and fell down on his face.
You know it says one of them. So the other 9, their attitude was like, oh shit, I'm cleansed. That's it. They forgot about who cleansed. That's Jake, man. Yep. That's Jake all the way, man.
Oh, shit.
How's the scripture say? Unthankful, unholy.
Yep.
You know? Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yep. And he said, and it
Without
says,
natural affection.
Without natural affection.
Like they got the heal and they for fucking, I'm out of here, man.
Yeah. Probably went right back to doing the wickedness that, you
Of
know.
course they did.
Go ahead, bro.
and fell down on his face at his feet, giving him thanks, and he was a Samaritan. And Yahweh
You know what that means? He was a Samaritan.
Oh, Detroit got us. Uh-oh.
Now
I
that's
told you, brother, the boy. I told you.
now that's a stumbling block. That's a stumbling block right there.
What does it mean by he was a Samaritan? He was an Israelite that was living in Samaria.
There it
That's
is.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all.
Hey, because you had a lot of Jakes that were accused of breaking the law, and instead of them suffering the punishment, they would run to Samaria for refuge. That's it.
Break it down,
You had
brother.
a lot of, that's why Yahweh went to the woman.
But you always had Israelites that were scattered anyway.
Right,
They were
right.
all over the place,
All
man.
over, all over. All over.
And now we understand why Yahushua said, I have not found so great a faith, no, not in Israel. Because this man, he was an Israelite that lived outside Jerusalem. He had great faith.
Right.
When he saw he was healed, he did the right thing. Now you had those Jews, those niggas, you know, but that's our people, man. I don't know if you brothers
You
understand.
sound like ASAP. Now you had those Jews, those niggas.
Oh, that's what
Them
they
niggas
were.
at GMS.
That's what they were. That's
And
a
the Samaritan
nigga.
woman, the Samaritan woman at the well, she was of another nation.
Yeah.
All right, and you know what proved that? When the Lord cursed her ass out. He didn't say, come back here, baby.
Right.
Let me give you some noogies and give you a blessing. No, he. At the end of the day, she moved. Matter of fact, get that, please.
Oh, you-
somebody
if I may
get
say,
that, man.
that's-
John 4.
Yep,
He
that
started
Samaritan
20.
man. If I may say, that Samaritan man, that's another example of
He was
how,
an Israelite.
yeah, which he was an Israelite. That's another example of how the Israelites outside of Jerusalem, how, the great faith they had. Unlike the Israelites that lived in Jerusalem, they had more faith than, you know, because this man, he got healed and he did the right thing. He praised
The
it.
centurion that wanted his servant healed, he had a slave. He said, Lord, please heal my slave so he
Yeah.
can work for me.
Yeah.
Did the Lord say, wait a minute, why you got a slave?
Yeah.
You know, you're a devil. No. The man was an Israelite that had slaves.
Right.
Because the Lord knew that people had slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scriptures say this, obey your masters. You know?
The point that we're making is the Israelite foreigners, they had a lot more faith than the Israelites that actually lived in Jerusalem. They had a lot more faith, man. And they more, in some ways, they were more honorable than, you had a lot of niggas that were Jews, man. A lot of niggas.
Well, the same niggas that you see every day
Yeah.
were them same niggas back then.
Exactly.
You know?
That's it. Yeah.
So we got it? We got
I
it?
got it.
Go ahead.
This is John 4. I'm gonna start at verse 7. There cometh the woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahushua saith unto her, give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou being a Jew askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with
She told you
Samaritans."
right there that she wasn't an Israelite.
Yeah.
Read that again, please. That key point right there.
Yep. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou being a Jew askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans.
And that's why the Lord said in Matthew 10, 5 and 6,
Yep.
go not into the way of the Gentiles, neither into the city of any city of the Samaritans, enter ye not, but
Right.
go rather to the lordship of the house of Israel. And as ye go, preach saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Cleanse the leper.
Yep.
Heal the leper.
Heal the sick.
Heal the sick.
Yep.
And those Samaritans are those heathens that King Shalmaneser had put up in there.
But which Shalmaneser? Which
Oh,
one?
damn, I don't know.
Which one?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not positive on that one.
Fifth.
Okay.
You got to know that.
Yeah, come.
I'm messing with you.
Nah, I gotta get back to the books.
Because I did a video that Nate did years ago, but he just said King Shalmaneser. So, you know me. You got to get the right King Shalmaneser. Which one is it? The first, the second? It's the fifth, nigga.
Yeah, that was
It's
the title.
fifth.
That was just the title.
Right.
It's like told to me.
Artaxerxes was titled right.
Artaxerxes.
Shalmanella. Shalmaneser.
Yeah.
That was a title.
Right.
Because they gave you his real, like Sargon.
Right.
Yep. So they had those titles, you know? Like the Xerxes, you know?
The Xerxes, yep. Xerxes, yep. All types, Ptolemy.
Yep, Ptolemy.
Antiochus.
Yep, Antiochus, Ptolemy,
Darius.
Seleucid, those are family names, you know? All right, go ahead.
Yep. Verse 10. Yahushua answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of the Most High, and who it is that saith to thee, give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob?
Wait a minute, didn't she say she was a Samaritan and the Jews have no dealing with us? But then she said her father Jacob, she was confused. Just like them so-called Jews talking about Jacob as vanilla skin.
Yeah, like a woman.
Go ahead.
Art thou greater than our father Jacob?
She went off. She went off.
Yep.
She went totally off.
And
Go ahead.
indeed, he was greater than the father Jacob. That's
right.
what she didn't know.
He was Jacob's father.
I was just going to say, he was Jacob's father. He was Jacob's father.
So
And he
then-
knew he was Jacob's father.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when he was Isaac, he didn't know he was Jacob's father.
Right.
But now he knows he's Jacob's father.
Right.
And Esau's father.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? Yahushua answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again, but whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life.
Which that's the water.
So this stupid bitch was talking about regular water.
Right.
And Yahushua kept teaching about spiritual water, and this stupid bitch kept going to the regular water.
Right.
Oh, the well is deep. And how can you... Come on, he's talking about spiritual water, you dumb bitch.
And that's
Go
the
ahead.
water that we have. That's,
I'm sorry to say it that way, but you get mad. You get mad, man.
well, you're visualizing it. You know, you're reading it. And you
And
see
like
how
that
stupid-
so-called Jew,
Yeah.
that so-called Jew, that rabbi and shit.
Yeah.
Jacob was vanilla skin. Get the hell out of here, man.
Dumb.
Oh, well, that's the heathens too.
Jacob?
The heathens are stupid by nature, man.
Hell yeah.
They're stupid as hell, man, especially Esau. He's the stupidest
That
of all.
so-called Jew in that video was saying, Esau was red, and he was angry, and Jacob was smooth, and then vanilla, and he was cool, calm, and collected. And then he said, and Esau was a man of the field. He was a hunter, and Jacob liked to dwell in tents and help his mother cook. Where's that description? That's what this motherfucker said. I know where the synagogue is. We can go down there right now, man, and confront that devil. We ain't gonna confront you, man. Cause Jesse Waters might pop up. What is your beef? So what's your beef? Go ahead, man. Let's
What's
go.
your beef, chief?
So what's your beef, chief?
Verse 15. The woman saith unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Yahushua said unto her, Go, call thy husband, and come hither.
Which her husband could have been a Jake. He could have been an
Your
Israelite.
husband could have been a Jacob.
Yeah.
The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yahushua said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband, but thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. And that,
Hold on, what does that mean? What does that mean? No, go deeper. What does that mean? Thou have 5 husbands, and the husband that you're with is not your husband. What did that mean? What did Yahushua say? What was he calling her?
An adulteress.
An adulteress.
Right.
Adulteress. Because her husband was still around, man.
Right.
And he was probably out of town somewhere. And she was sleeping around with some other dude.
Good man.
You know?
Oh,
If the
Proverbs
good man.
7th chapter.
Yep.
Proverbs
If the good
7th
man.
chapter.
Yep.
and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband, and that saidst thou truly. The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet.
Yeah, because he perceived that you was a hoe. You know what I'm saying? He said, yeah, you ain't got, I know you ain't got no one husband. And the one you had 5 husbands, and the one you with now is not your husband.
Hey, she was the inspiration for that song. Oh, here she comes. Watch out.
She's a man.
She's a man eater. That was a man eater.
Hell yeah.